Yo, yo. I think we're mic's on. So, quick stream tonight. Gonna talk about what you can expect from Wai Wai Cup. Honestly, it took me quite a bit to understand what's going on, so I will try to share that with you. Looks like they're practicing anti-airs, maybe? Let me pull up another match. They're practicing some anti-airs. But this weekend is essentially a 4-day 2x event. I'll try to stream as much of it as I can, but first we got to understand what's happening, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you a brief overview of the 4 days, and then we'll talk about the bracket. I'll do some analysis and predictions, and then yeah, kind of take it from there. So let me just find a match that we can pull up. So we have additional stuff going on the screen, and the music here. This is The Keeper, which is Marcus's new album. So I just pulled some of the instrumentals off of that, and it's gonna kind of have that chilling, playing in the background while I talk. Just trying to get rid of my face here, get a little fightcade match going. I don't know, man. OBS is kind of bugging out. There we go. I feel like I'm gonna have to do that every time. Hopefully they play for a long time. Alright. If anyone in the chat wants to let me know how audio is, if not, it's cool. I'll trust that it sounds good enough. Wai Wai. The second Wai Wai Cup. First one was pretty interesting. It was like you represent your hood. Oh, come on, they stopped playing. Alright, let me find another match. Here we go. It's a lot to maintain. I need something that does it like auto. Alright, now it should pull up. There we go. So it was kind of like the battle of your arcade. So there were teams that were you know, representatives of your arcade. And what I did here is I pulled a bracket, and so there's gonna be like round 1 for A block, round 1 for B block. Again, it's like very hard, and there's not a lot of information out there. We'll get into that in a little bit, but I just kind of compiled all the information, and then the yellow numbers are associated with the team name that's on the left. It's just easier to look at like this versus a bunch of dots and then the @ so you know, bear with me as I try to figure this out as well. So Wai Wai, Friday October 11th in Japan, they're gonna do their East-West match, sponsored by Shogatsu. So players will show up at night. They're gonna do an East-West event. So that's pretty much day 1 of Wai Wai Cup. Now, day 2 is going to be not sponsored by Wai Wai. It's the Kan-Sho NPO event. And that's going to be X-Rare. I'll be doing a separate bracket analysis stream for that one. But X-Rare is the 2-on tournament where you got to use the same character. And that's going to be held at Big One. So it's a part of the overall 2X weekend, but that is going to happen on a separate day. That's going to be October 12th. So that's day 2 essentially of the 2X events. And you know, hopefully we get a bracket for that soon. I've seen the signups. I think some of the notable ones is Uvega and Murasaki teaming up again. And then there's Nakamura coming back in the tournament scene, teaming up with Haku. But yeah, we'll dive into that on a separate stream. Let's jump into what's going on stream elements. We'll jump into the following day. So day 3 will be the actual Wai Wai Cup. And so there's a ABCD blocks, I guess, or 4 rounds of 16 teams, communities from online are a separate team. There's obviously offline arcades, and then there are a total of 7 countries that are participating in this, so it's pretty cool. Goki's not allowed, obviously, and all the teams have been determined. We'll take a look at those in a little bit, but that's kind of like the Wai Wai main event. That one is hosted by Tamashima. And then finally, you have the final day of the Wai Wai event, and it's going to be something with Mao, hosted by Mao. Kind of interesting, because what it's going to be is he's going to be doing like a bracket matchup chart on the spot. And so, yeah, I guess they're going to just do like a matchup chart. I don't know if they're actually going to play matches while it's happening, but viewers and whatnot, participants are going to be like, hey, can we talk about Ryu versus Ken or Gal versus whatever? And they're going to do some type of matchup chart thing. I'll probably need Marcus on the stream for that one so that he can help me translate what's going on. I mean, I'm sure with visuals I'll get it, but like I want to understand context, right? So yeah, so that's that. Let me put the music down just a slight bit. Alright, I think it's better-ish. Alright, cool. So let's go ahead and talk about the teams on Wai Wai Cup. As I mentioned, there's 16 teams. There's A block, B block, or like round 1A, round 1B, and then the same teams fighting against C and D. So we're gonna look at A and B first, obviously, but before that, let's take a look at the actual team and team composition. So team number 1, I'm just gonna be going from the left hand side here. Nakano TRF. Uvega is the first to sign up for any tournament. Let's just be real. Any tournament there is, he's the first person to sign up. Yo, what up, Dinky? He's the first one to sign up. And so, team number 1, Nakano TRF, is going to be Uvega, Peroshi, Honda, Tencho Ryu, and Seo Chun-Li. They pretty much always team up together, like recently. And you know, they're a favorite to win, right? I haven't even looked at the other 15 teams yet, but Uvega, so that's BIP, Peroshi, Honda, Tencho Ryu, Seo Chun-Li. I mean, they got everything but a grappler. Chun is a grappler, but you know what I mean, right? Like they're kind of covering a lot. They don't have, I mean, they have a top tier Chun, but there's no Barlog, like there's no Claw, there's no Ultigot, so I'm sure there's going to be another OP team. Having all top tiers doesn't mean that your team is going to be a winning team, but that's a tough team. Nakano TRF. Team 2 is Fukaya Robot. And their team name, they have a team name, is YY11. This is a pretty gangster team right here. This has Hakase Dalsim, Tamashima with Bison, Noguchi with Balrog, and A4 Blanca. So, I gotta stress on A4. This guy, like, he's a menace. He's unstoppable. He's a very important player to have on the team because Blanca can upset. Like, Blanca can beat Bip. Blanca loses to Honda pretty bad, but, like, Blanca can fight grapplers. So if there's Hawks around there, like, Blanca can cover a lot of interesting matchups. He can be pretty annoying even against some Fireball characters. But so far I've talked about 2 teams and they're you gotta look out for them. Team 3 is the Minami Urawa Big One, right? So Big One Arcade. It's the Big One team. On there you have Shogatsu with S Honda. You have Hyjin with Ryu. So solid Ryu. Grigra with Fei Long. Definitely, you know, one of the rising stars of the character. And Tomoza Vega. You know, Tomoza is like a very strong tournament player. Like he excels in tournaments, I feel like. And this team composition is interesting. I mean, you have S Honda, but it's Shogatsu, right? Like, it's, you know, straight up, it's GATS, it's Shogatsu. And you got Hyjin Ryu, like, you know, solid Ryu. Grigla Fei Long, another specialized type character in Tomoza. It's a solid, like, overall mid-tier team in terms of the characters. No super OP character, although S Honda and Fei Long are kind of annoying. But, you know, they're not like OP characters. That's Team 3. Team 4 is the Newton team. Their team name is Hobo Fusa Otoko. This has Otoko Bison, Sankaku Bison, Hobo Yamamoto, Chun-Li, and Fukuyama Ryu. So I guess their team name is like a combination of all their names. So now we're starting to get spicy, right? We have a Chun with Hobo Yamamoto. You have young Otoko Bison, Sankaku Bison, and then Fukuyama Ryu. So good amount of top tiers. They're not on the caliber of some of the other players that we've talked about so far, but like I think Otoko won Kakerugo, if I'm not mistaken, right? Or he won a big tournament recently, so you know, can't count him out. That's another player to look out for, and another strong team composition. Team 5, we have Tachikawa Will. This has Shonen Ryu, AOB Balrog, Noko Noko Fei Long, and Haruma Ryu. So 2 Ryus, Fei Long, Balrog. I mean, again, decent team composition. Not sure how I feel about Double Ryu, but I mean, it's not a bad character. Not really any low tiers on that team. I wouldn't even know who to say is the I guess Shonen is kind of like the highest level of the team. Maybe AOB with Balrog. I'm not sure on that one. All right, here we go. The boys at Versus. So last year, Marcus was on the Nichinipori Versus team, Team 6. But he's going to be on a different team this time. This has Hide with Chun, Haku Kami, Kawasim with Dalsim, and Peko S. Ken. This is a killer team right here. They have a Chun, they have Dalsim, they have Goki Light, right, with S. Ken. And Haku's one of my favorite players right now. He uses Kami, and I mentioned it on previous streams that I think Haku is going to be the one to elevate that character to the next level. Kami's not necessarily moving up on the tier list, but Kami's going to get some more respect, I feel like. And, Haku, who's the Xer champion. He won Xer this year, was it? They have a good shot, and if I recall, the Versus team won last year, Wai Wai Cup. Although the team composition was a little bit different, they did win it. Hide, Haku, Kawasim, Peko, that's legit. Team 7 is Wai Wai, Fujimadai Wai Wai. It's blank right now, so I don't really know who's on that team, but based on Hakase, Tamashima, and Noguchi already being on the Fukaya robot team, I don't know who's going to be on Team 7. Alright, here we go. Team number 8, Online 1. This is the Kotaka team. So their arcade is online. That's what they called it. Online 1. There's another online team. They're Online 1. Team name is Preaching to Buddha. Alright, check this out. This team has Kotaka Shoten with Guile, Aze Guile, Hanako Guile, and that's right, folks, Yoshio Guile. It's the team of Guiles. Like, what are you doing? You guys want to get counterpicked? Nah, unless they run into a team of Dalsims, like, I'm looking at all the teams that they would have to go up against. I don't know. I'm not worried about this team so far. Out of all the teams that we've seen, I guess the the Team 2 Fukaya robot with Hakase and Noguchi, A4 Blanca. Blanca fights Gal okay. It's not terrible. And then Tamashima. But that's a crazy team. It's just Kotaka and Gal friends. I'm obviously rooting for that team. I'm looking forward to seeing them go at it. That's pretty sick. We covered the first half of the teams. Let's cover the second half. So we have a Tohoku Team 9, Game Center Tobu. This has Benda Honda, Sakura Men Guile, Sasaki Zangief, and Yuki with no character listed. That's what I'm saying. How am I supposed to figure this out? There's no character listed for Yuki. I don't know who they play. I can't remember all these things. Yo, what's up, Oshawott? Listening to the new Marcus Z album and doing a bracket analysis of Wai Wai Cup. Yeah, we got to fill in the blank on that one. To be quite honest, obviously I've heard most of these names for, these players, but not too familiar with them. Honda, Gal, Zangief, and then an unknown character. I don't know, man. I don't know about this team. We'll keep it moving. Chubu Team. So this is Shuttle. Rest in peace, Space Shuttle, of course. They're no longer operational. And then the Hamamatsu Port 24. This is like a combined effort team. This has Opemai with Balrog, so we already know. Let me get this going. Let's get another match pulled up. Get another match pulled up. Opemai. There's a Softail with Chun-Li. Who else do we have here? There's Kuryu with Ryu, and then Wanike Honda. So I mean, they have Balrog, Chun, Ryu, Honda. That's a good team. Like, that's a great team composition, because Honda is a good team character. Honda's gonna beat anybody who doesn't have a fireball, right? That's like 70% of the cast. And then obviously Opemai, Softail, Chun. And then I'm not familiar with Ryu, but like, again, Ryu covers most of the cast. That's a solid team. Oh man, another RIP arcade, Tenoji Pasca. So this is the Osaka team. Pasca Collapse Kai, I guess that's their dojo name. It's Team 11. This is Paroto with Guile, Nishi Guile, Shigaken, and Matsu Blanca. Shigaken and Matsu Blanca, they're old school players. That's a pretty good team. 2 Guiles though. Shigaken, this is the first Ken that we've seen so far. And then Matsu Blanca, very bracket dependent. When we actually take a look at A, B, C, D, we'll see who they have to fight against, but not a bad team comp. Now we have the Kyushu team, G Stage, Team 12. This has Yume with Barlog, Supi Vega, Ara Honda, and then the 4th player is TBD. I can't really say much, but Ara Honda, obviously good. Supi Vega, got a couple matches under his belt. Yume, not as familiar with, and they need a teammate. Maybe I should fly out there and team up with them. Alright, if I was flying out, I'd be flying out from the Americas. This is the team, y'all. Team 13, Americas. This is the one that you need to look out for. Their team name is Fair Characters. Alright, y'all ready for this? We got, from the United States of America, 4C Joe, playing Barlog. We have from Mexico, Hokuto, playing Barlog. We have Mao, playing Barlog. And then, of course, you have Makiri playing Ken. So 3 claws and a Ken. That's a team that's probably going to win, right? So far. There's 3 Barlogs on the team. Including, like the top American Balrog, right? 4C Joe. And then you got the top Mexican Balrog, Hokuto, and then the top Japanese Balrog, Mao. And then you sprinkle in a little bit of a Dragon Punch in there. No, we would call it 3 claws and a Ken, but it's called Team Fair Characters. That's a nasty team. They have the ability to win the tournament. Like, here's the thing, right? The first team we talked about has Uvega. Uvega, obviously he's good at the Balrog match, but can you Can you block wall dives from 3 different players? How are you going to block 3 times, right? Alright, you have Peroshi Honda. Maybe Honda can make it work, but Marcus is going to shut that down. He doesn't lose the Honda match. Kan-Sho Ryu, good luck blocking wall dives or dragon punching. And then Seo Chun, Hokuto beat Seo Chun at the TRF monthly tournament. So, you know, just saying, you know, I think this is the team right here. Team Bad Luck 13, but it's the Americas. So, let's see how they do it. Some more international guests. Team 14, Eurasia. Their team name is Unblockable Club. And this is pretty much all foreigners, right? So you have Tuakak, French player who lives in Japan. Plays Dalsim, very strong. Kozuki Odin 2X, who I believe is an Italian player, currently in Japan and kicking it with DJ. DX Steve X with Bison, who I believe is also a French player. And then you have Laugh from Korea, living in Japan now with Sagat. So that's the Eurasia connection. That's Dalsim, DJ, Bison, Sagat. That is actually a killer. That team could beat the Guile team. Between Tuakak, Laugh, and then with, you know, DXC, Bison, and Kozuki's DJ. I haven't seen many of his videos yet, but I mean, that's a crazy team. I love the international team so far. That's what's up. All right, here we go. Team 15. We get some representation from Osaka once again. This is the Nippon Bashi Athena arcade players. You have a couple of people that I'm familiar with, some less familiar. So there's B-Star with Chun. Not familiar with their game like that. Maybe I'll play them out there though. There's Fuki Ryu. But then you got some of the heavy hitters. You have Maki with Chun. You know, she's obviously a legend at 0-3. Enters pretty much every 2X tournament. You know, we don't get a lot of representation from that region, I feel like, consistently. Namely, like Auto-Chun and Aniken don't enter as much of the tournaments as they used to. But Gunze, he comes out to a bunch of stuff, and he's going to be their last player, Zangief. So 2 Chun, Zangief, and Ryu, you know, not the most heaviest of the hitters in terms of the players, but they can get countered. I mean, there's a Claw team. There was the Guile team. I would say they got their work cut out for them. And then we have the Kaminjin Online 2 team, number 16, which is usually like some of these guys are on the Ultra Street Fighter 2 team. It's like the team name that they usually go with. This says Kaminjin, who, if I recall, got like top 4 at Evo last year. Ultra Mario with Ryu, Tetsuya Balrog, and then Neru Ryu. So 2 Ryus and 2 Balrogs. That's decent. That's pretty legit. Yeah, he lives in Japan now, so he's playing CVS 2 and 2X. Maybe he'll pick up a new game. But that's a general rundown of the 16 teams that we're looking at for YY. Next thing I'm going to do is just start calling out the matches. So if you look under round 1A, you'll see it says like TRF versus the Pasca team. So that's team 1 versus team 11. I'm going to just start predicting who's going to win. So team 1 has Uvega, Peroshi, Tensho, Seo. Team 11 has Paro Oto, Nishi, Shigaken, Matsu. Without even much thought, I gotta give this one to team 1. No, I don't think all of the yo, what's up, Dyer? I don't think all of the continents have representation for this one, but there are 7 countries supposedly that are in this. Very, very cool. I guess there's what, US, Japan, Korea, Italy, Mexico, France, and maybe another country I haven't thought of yet, but pretty cool. Very, very cool. But yeah, I think I got TRF for round 1. Athena versus Newton. So we just talked about the Athena team having like Zangief, 2 Chuns. The Newton team has Otoko Bison, Sankaku Bison, Yamamoto. This is a tough one to call, but Guze does particularly well against all those characters, even Chun. I gotta give this one to the Athena team. I think Athena's got round A. I can see that as being a reality. Alright, the next round is the Robot versus America's team. So, that sucks, dude. So, it's going to be the Claw plus Makiri team against one of the busted teams. When I say busted, I mean like all like the top tiers. There's Hakase, Tamashima, Noguchi, and A4. Sorry, man. I got to give it to the Barlog team. Like, 4C Joe, Hokuto, Mao, and Makiri. Yeah. Unless Noguchi can win the mirror match over and over, I don't know. Hakase, the Dalton match, we've seen it time and time again. It's a terrible match. Balrog wins that one free. Tamashima's solid as well, but I don't know. And then Blanca struggles, man. Hopefully we get Rocky 3. Hopefully we get Makiri versus A4 Blanca one more time. But I gotta give that one to the Americas. Sorry, fellas. For those that are rooting for the Wai Wai team. Yeah. Nah. Alright, then there's Kyushu versus the Will team. So that's Team 12 versus Team 5. Yeah, I mean, neither of these teams have the crazy heavy hitters. Team 12 is still awaiting a fourth character. But Ara, out of the two teams, I would say Ara is the strongest. But Team 5 does have 2 Ryus. So this one's TBD. I'm not going to make a prediction. I can't make a prediction. You know what? We'll just roll with Team 12. That's my prediction. I'm going to rewatch this VOD after the tournament and see if I was right or not. Alright. Up next. Oh, man. This is a nutty one. So you got the Versus team versus Eurasia. Mind you, like Laugh and Tokak, they play at Versus often enough, but nah, man, this got... So they have Kawasim to deal with Laugh, right? So you get the Sagat out the way. Haku... Let's see, Haku... Nah. Between Peko, nah. I'm going with the Versus team. As much as I want Eurasia to do well, nah. I'm telling you, Haku's Kami's in a surprise. Haku's Kami, that's the one to watch out for. He's in a surprise. And then, yeah, Kawasim, Goki Light. Like, Pekko's playing S-Ken. It's basically Red Goki. They're literally the same character. I'm tired of pretending that it's not. Alright. And then Hide-Chun. Nah, I gotta give this one to the Versus team. Straight up. Alright, then there's Tohoku versus Big One. So that's Team 9 and Team 3. Yeah, I mean, I don't know who Yuki's playing, but Team 3's got Tomoza, who excels in tournament, and it's got Shogatsu. Nah, I gotta give this one to the Big One. Big One's taking this one. Free. Not free, but you know what I mean. Yeah, this is taking a while. I didn't think it would take this long to go through bracket. I'll try to speed it up. Then we have Team 16 versus Team, Kotaka team. So the team of Giles. Alright, so let's see who the Giles have to fight. So the Giles have to fight Kamenjin, Tetsu. So that's 2 Barlogs, and then Ultra Mario and Neru. These Giles are not losing to Ryu. I'm sorry. In Japan, Kotaka and Kaneko, they're not losing to Ryu. It just be like that. The Balrog players got their work cut out for them. I gotta give this one to the Online 1 team. Yeah, nah. Online 1 is beating Online 2. Back it up. Dell wins. Flawless victory. And then to round out round 1A is the Wai Wai and Chubu team. The Wai Wai team is TBD, and then the Chubu team is Opemai, etc. We don't know who's on that, so I can't really make a prediction. I think that's gonna be an LCQ, I guess. Maybe that's what it is. Yeah, it's like the Fujimura. So it's gonna be held at Wai Wai, obviously, So I think that's an LCQ for anyone that didn't have an arcade that they're representing. So anyway, that's that. So Wai Wai is a 4-day event. Starts Friday in Japan, and then yeah. Team Americas, it's 4C Joe, Bakudo, Makiri, and Mao. So 3 Barlogs and a Ken. Yep. So we just covered round A. I think those predictions are pretty legit. I don't feel like there's any where it can go any which way. I think my predictions there are pretty solid. Alright, B. What do we got in B? So you got the Chubu and the Versus team. The Chubu team, as we mentioned, is the Opemai, Softail, Wanake team. And then the Versus team, again, they got Peko, Kawasim, Haku, Hide. I gotta give this one to Versus. I mean, you have Opemai though, right? If Opemai, like, who's gonna beat Opemai? It would have to be up to Peko, right? Peko, S-Ken, maybe? Even though it's still a bad match. Like, Barlog beats. Yeah, actually, you know what? No, I think the Opemai, I just can't see it. Who's gonna beat Opemai? And then Wanike, you know, Honda against the Kami. I mean, but then Peko can beat that Honda up. I don't know, man. I gotta give this, unless someone could beat Opemai right away, maybe they'll anchor him. But if there's someone that's strong enough that's remaining that can beat Opemai, then the Versus team will win that. Otherwise, I don't know, yo. Like, I'm literally banking it on one player. It's kind of nuts, right? Let's get another match for you guys to watch. Alright, then you got the Eurasia team. We talked about them for a while. So that's one with, like, Laugh, Steve, the Euro players. Here we go. We got some Goki on stream. They fight against the Tachikawa team, which is Shonan, AOB, Nokonoko, and Harama. I gotta give this to Eurasia. I think Laugh is a problem. Laugh and Tulkok. Estegat and Dalsim on the same team together. That means Estegat doesn't have to fight Dalsim. He's chilling now. That's one less Dalsim you got to deal with in a tournament. That's a BG right there. It's over. So, yeah. That's my call out for that one. Then you got Team 7 versus Team 16. So that's the online team versus the Wai Wai team. LCQ essentially. We don't know yet, so we'll skip that one. Alright, here we go. I don't even have to look at this. It's the TRF team versus Kyushu. TRF, we mentioned Yuvega Peroshi, Tencho, Seo. The Kyushu team, Yume, Supi, Ara, and then TBD. Nah, I think Nakano TRF got this one. They're not losing that one. I wish I could have more faith for the underdogs, but nah. Sorry. Plus, you know, the Kyushu team is still short one person. Yeah, Tencho's solid. Tencho's a good player. Alright, then we have the Pasca and the Newton team. So Pasca has 2 Giles, Shiga Ken, and Matsu Blanca. So very, I mean, so they have Giles and then kind of like mid/low tier, right? With Ken, Blanca. And then they were going to fight the, what team did I say? The Newton team. And Newton has Otoko Bison, Sankaku Bison, Bobo Yamamoto, Fukuyama. I gotta give it to the Bison team. 2 Bisons over 2 Giles. And like, what's Ken and Blanca gonna do against Bison? Yeah, I gotta give that one to the Newton team. That's the way that one's gonna go. Alright, now you have It's funny how things play out. So this next match is Team 8 and 13. So that's the Kotaka versus the Americas team. So again, quick reminder, the Americas team is 3 Barlogs and Makiri Ken. And then the Guile, or the Kotaka team is a team of Giles. Kotaka, Aze, Kaneko, and Yoshio, all Guile. It's going to boil down to Kotaka and Mao as the last 2. That's my prediction. I think Marcus has the ability to beat all the Giles. Not in succession. That is hard. I know he can beat Guile, And recently he's kind of worked on some new tech for Ken that works on Gal, and it's already proven to be effective. But yeah, this is Barlog versus Gal. Kotaka to me is like out of all the players so far that we talked about, next to you, Vega, I think Kotaka. So basically, of all the players that we talked about, the top 3 players, in my opinion, are Yu Vega, Kotaka Shoten, and Mao. Like, easily, they're the top 3. And then there's a little bit of a gap before we hit the next tier, the next echelon, the lower, they're just ahead. So that could easily be Kotaka versus Mao as the anchors of the 2 respective teams. But anything can happen, right? Can I heal ball or not? So if wall dives are hitting, then the Barlogs are spitting. I don't know. I'm just trying to make something up. All right. Next team is the Toku and the Robot team. So Team 2, Team 9. Man. This is kind of an easy one. It's going to be the Fukuya Robot team. Hakase, Tamashima, Noguchi, and A4. Come on. Come on, man. Come on now. They got that one. I don't even need to go into detail. The name speaks for himself. If they lose, that would be like a major upset. Like, that's how unlikely it is. But you know what? Benda, Sakura, Men, Sasaki, and Yuki. I'm just some random dude whose face is usually on fire with glasses and slick back hair. Don't listen to me. You can win. Alright. And then closing out round 1B all the way at the bottom, the Big One and Athena team. So you mentioned, the Athena team doesn't have, like, it's missing, like, Odo-chun and Anihen. They still got Maki, Gunze, and then B-Star and Fuki not as, aware of, but Osaka players, very strong, obviously. But going up against Tomoza Vega, Grigra Feilong, Haijin Ryu, and then Shogatsu S Honda. Sorry, I gotta give this one to the Big One team. I think Big One's got that. So far in round A and B, the only maybe that I have is the Kotaka versus America's team. I think everything else is pretty, in my opinion, clear who's gonna take it. So far. But yeah, let's see. Let's check out C block and D block. So obviously the 16 teams don't change, same 16 teams, but the matches that we're gonna see. So it's pretty much like whichever arcade, whichever game center has the best performance ends up winning the cup, which is like artwork and special trophy, or I don't know, they get something. I'm gonna go through this a bit more quickly so I can talk about like just the rest of the events and then extra and what you can expect. So round 1 in C, you have a Kaminjin team versus the Robot team. So Robot, we just talked about, is pretty much the Wai Wai boys. Kaminjin has a Kaminjin, Ultra Mario, Tetsu, and Neru, basically the Ultra Street Fighter 2 team. Yeah, sorry, it's gonna be the YY11 team, y'all. Hakase, Tamashima, Noguchi, A4. I think they got that one. Then you have the Kotaka team up next against the Tohoku team, and that is the one where there's still someone TBD. There's a Honda on there, a Guile, and a Zangief. So a team of Guiles is gonna beat a team of a Zangief, a Honda, a TBD, and a Guile. So Kotaka team got that one. Then Eurasia versus YY. So we just mentioned that Team 7 is like a LCQ. That team has not yet been determined. It could have like Viper on it. It could have Murasaki on it. It could, whoever's going to be traveling. Those guys will be in town because Murasaki's there for X-Rare. Imagine a team of like Yakitori, Viper, Murasaki, and Nakamu. I don't know. I'm just throwing names. Like there's Matsun. There's so many players that are just gonna be there. How do I call who's gonna win? Anyway, that last team could be a team of killers that just disrupts the entire bracket that we've talked about so far. Also, what up, J bro? Thanks for the 3 stream streak. What round was that up to? Oh, Big One and Pasca. So we're still in C. Big One and Pasca. I'm giving this one to the Big One team. You know, they have a Honda. Honda's in a deal with Blanca, right? As Honda. Rigra and like Tomoza. Yeah, I gotta give this one to the Big One team. Tomoza does exceptionally well. Like, actually, all these matches are pretty good for Vega, right? Like Guile, Ken. Pretty much even match for Bip. But Blanca, you know, Bip loses that match terribly. So that's where Shogatsu is going to be chilling, waiting for that. They got some good fair matches. I mean, Hyjin, Ryu. So, like, Hyjin goes, you know, it's an okay match against Guile. Guile wins it, but Ryu can hold his own. I don't know. I still give it to Big One, though. And if anyone agrees or disagrees, let me know your reasons. I'm happy to go back on any specific match and talk about it. All right, here's a disgusting match. Oh, man, this match is awful. Why? Why is this in the bracket? It's the Americas team versus the TRF team. So the 3 Barlogs and Marcus against Uvega, Peroshi, Tencho, and Seo. This is finally we have a match where it's like, damn. Damn. It's like, do I root for my boys? You know? I'm biased. Obviously, I want the boys to win, right? We got, you know, Hokuto and Mikiri, 2 of the Super Lore boys. Got 4C Joe, and then you got Mao. But I don't know, man. I mean, here's... Alright, Marcus can cover the Honda match, right? So Peroshi, that can be dealt with. Uvega, he beat him at the last tournament. Marcus beat Uvega. Marcus narrowly lost to Tencho. It was close. Maybe they get a run back. And then Seo Chun. Hokuto beat Seo. I just mentioned that. So, based on that logic, I don't know. Maybe the Americas got this one. Maybe. I don't know. That one's a debatable. That one is definitely a debatable, but you know, we'll see how everyone carries their weight, right? Like, it's going to be very dependent on every matchup counts. You don't want to lose a Barlog, and you don't want to lose any of your, like, you don't want to lose a Ryu. Basically, all those characters, like Ryu and Chun, are the ones that beat Ken. But Honda and Bip, Honda loses to Ken, and then Bip goes even. So it's like, if those characters can pull their weight, survive long enough where they can also fight the rest of the Barlogs, that's their chance. So actually, I would say the Americas have the upper hand, but you know, it's Uvega and Seo. I'm gonna have to go with the Americas. My bias is kicking in. Yeah, spent a lot of time on that one. I don't know where I am anymore. Hold on. What part of the bracket was I up to? Somewhere in the middle of C. Yeah. All right. We're near the bottom half of C now. So there's Newton and the Chubu team. So Team 4 and Team 10. So the Newton team we mentioned has the 2 Bisons. There's Hobo Yamamoto with Chun and then Fukuyama. And the Team 10 is the Chubu team, which is Opemai, Softail, Kuryu, and Wanike Honda. This is going to be an exciting match. I think there's going to be a lot of back and forth, but I got to give this one to the Chubu team. As Opemai. Like, as Opemai. Yeah. That's enough to turn the tide for me. But that's going to be an exciting match to watch. I think we can anticipate a lot of back and forth. And if anyone beats Opemai, it's going to be... Then there's a huge shot. Like, yeah, that will turn the tide. Then we have Team 5, the Will team versus the Athena team. Athena. This is Shonen Ryu, AOB, Barlog, Noko Noko Feilong, and Haruma Ryu. So 2 Ryus. The Athena team has Maki with Chun, B-Star Chun, Gunze with Zangief, Fuki Ryu. Gunze, give him some Zangiefs. Or, sorry, give him some Ryus. AOB is going to be a problem with Balrog. And then Noko Noko Feilong. Feilong is a huge knowledge check character. You know, if these guys know how to play Fei, like if Maki's got the anti-Fei tech down and B-Star, that'll be a problem. But at the end of the day, what would I say here? I'm going to give it to the... Maybe... Yeah, I'm going to give it to the Athena team. This one is also questionable. But I feel like Gunze's just got the power. It doesn't matter with the matchups. Let's get another match going. Yeah, that's my prediction on that one. I think that's a pretty fair assessment. Alright, we're almost done with C, and then we got one more to go. So let me just first get another match for you guys to watch. Set up my poor mug. Poor mug. Okay. Alright, lastly in round 1C is the Versus team versus the Kyushu team. Kyushu team has Yume, Supi Vega, Ara Honda, and then a TBD. The Versus team, they're, you know, top 3, top 4 killer team here. That's Hide, Haku, Kawasim, Peko. I'm just giving it to the Versus team. Yeah. I think the Versus team got that one. It's such a good team composition as well. Like Chun, Cammy, Dalsim, S-Ken. I mean, that's a solid non-Barlog team. It's pretty much all like a good sprinkle of top tier and Cammy being the only low tier. There's no mids. That's why it's not a mid team. It's a good team. Alright. Finally, round D. Starting from the top. It's the Kaminjin, the online 2 team versus the Will team. Tachikawa Will. We just talked about Tachikawa Will. It's the one with the AOB, Balrog, 2 Ruse, and Fei. And then, I don't know, like... It's a tough one to call because I feel like the players aren't... Like, there's no, like, super grandmaster on either of the teams. I'm gonna give it to the Kaminjin team because they got Tetsu with Barlog. They got Kaminjin. There's Ultra Mario. These guys like Ultra SF2. So they're gonna get the Ultra SF2 buff. Hella biased bracket prediction. Alright. Then you got the Newton versus the Eurasia team. I thought we already talked about this. No, that was a versus. So Newton... So the Newton team has 2 Bisons. But Tuakok, Dalsim can kind of handle. They also got DX Steve X with Bison. If Kozuki can hit the DJ combos, nah, I gotta give this one to Eurasia. And then there's Laugh. Who's Laugh gonna lose to? Yeah, no, that's Eurasia. Eurasia's got that one. Tosca versus Wai Wai. So Wai Wai is still, that's the LCQ, so we'll skip that one. The Chubu team versus the Robot team, which is the real Wai Wai team. The Chubu team, here we go. So this is Opemai, Softail, Kuryu, and Wanike going up against Hakase, Tamashima, Noguchi, and A4. Yeah, Opemai, I think this is where we can finally say your days might be numbered. That is an all-star team to beat, right? A4 Blanca, Noguchi with, you know, Balrog, so we got a mirror going. Tamashima, Bison, and Hakase Dalsim. I mean, they have a Honda on there. Wanike Honda. Honda can upset all 4 of those characters, actually. Honda beats Blanca. Honda can, at some point, loop Balrog in the corner. Honda can do random headbutt against Bison and Hail Mary for the win. Same against Dalsim. Actually, shoot. I take back what I said. The Wai Wai team is the team to beat. Team 2. because that's just like all killers. But I think Wanake got this one. Wanake and Softail, like I think the other players, not just talking only about Opemai, I think the other players can make this one happen. I gotta give it to the Chubu team. But that could also be a personal bias against the Wai Wai players. I don't know. It could be a personal bias. Alright, the Kyushu team versus Kotaka team. So the Kyushu team has Yume, Supi, Ara, and TBD. The Gal team got this one. Yeah, the Gal team got that one. Alright, Americas versus Big One. So Americas is Barlog ×3 and Marcus. Big One team has Shogatsu, Haijin, Kurigra, and Tomoza. Unless Shogatsu is on one. If Shogatsu's on one, you can take out a couple of the Balrogs. But like once Shogatsu comes out, that's when you bust out the Ken, right? And Marcus actually got really good at the Fae match. And obviously with Bip, that's one of his strongest matchups. Shoutouts to us playing in the pandemic. He like super leveled up in that match. He beat me 10-4 in person a month or two ago. And then, you know, with Haijin Ryu. Yeah, no. I gotta give this one to the Americas. Because once you beat a Barlog, you could throw in Marcus at any point. If it's Honda, and just take out your Barlog killer. If it's like, oh shoot, this guy's good. Alright, don't spend another Barlog, just have Marcus clean it up. That's a possibility. So, nah, I think I got the Americas on that one as well. But that's gonna be a sick match. Shogatsu is fun to watch. Alright. Then you have a Tohoku versus the Versus team. So Tohoku is well, let's get another match going. The wait, what? I lost my train of thought. What team did I mention? Oh, I got the number wrong on that one. The Versus team. All right, so Tohoku's team 9, and then the Versus team is 6. So I got the numbers wrong on that. That's my bad. So yeah, the last two might be wrong. I probably just did it too fast, but I think the Versus team got that one. They're more recognizable players. We already talked about the Versus team having like a lot of top tiers, and then Cammy as a representative, you know, representing low tiers. So gotta give that one to Versus. And then finally, Athena versus TRF. I feel like I said this with all the other teams, but TRF team is just slated to win. So I don't know if the Athena team can upset, but with all that being said, if we look at all 4 of those, you know, ABCD, I think it's the Nakano TRF team, and it's between them and the Americas team for top 2. So it's all dependent on whoever wins that match when they fight. I think that's going to be the deciding factor of the tournament. Unless, of course, this random LCQ team is like OP as hell, then, you know, I'll eat my words. But it'll be very hard to get more OP than 3 Barlogs in Ken and Uvega Peroshi, Tensho Seo. Unless, like I said, if it's Murasaki, Matsun, Yakitori, like if that's a team, and then throw like Kusamundo or something in there, if that ends up being a team, then yeah, you know, that's kind of a good team, but we'll see. So, just to sum it up for those that came in a little bit later, this weekend is going to be a 4-day event. All right, it starts on Friday, October 11th in Japan, so it'll be like the night of Thursday, tomorrow night, essentially. I may or may not. No, I'm definitely not gonna live stream that. I'll restream it the next day, probably, into the weekend. But the first day 1 is gonna be the East-West battle, hosted by Shogatsu. and that's going to be held at Wai Wai Game Center. So it's just going to be East-West battle. Day 2 is X-Rare, and that's going to be the 2v2 team tournament. There's no bracket yet, so once the bracket's available, we'll do this all over again with the bracket analysis. Day 3 is what we just talked about on today's stream, the ABCD 16 teams, Kanto region, online communities in 7 countries from around the world competing at Wai Wai Cup. So that is what we talked about. My prediction going into it is the TRF team or America's team. Runner-ups in that prediction, Eurasia. Eurasia can definitely do it, as well as the Guile team, the Kotaka team, and even the, like I said, the LCQ. So there's a lot of uncertainty right now, but you know what? Like the TRF team, even though they always team up, I don't think that they consistently win. They'll get like decent placements, but they'll get beat. They're not an unstoppable team. Anyway, and then day 4 is where Mao is gonna create like some type of matchup chart. It's gonna be like a 2-hour stream where people will play, and then they're gonna survey and ask about like, hey, what are your thoughts on Guile versus Ken? And they're gonna try to do like a live matchup chart on the spot. Kind of a weird format for an event. So everything will be at Wai Wai except for X-Rare. That's gonna be a big one. And yeah, again, when bracket's available, I'll be there. Big ups to everyone who's participating and Wai Wai for having a cool format tournament. Like, you know, they have the 2-on-2s, 3-on-3s, 4-on-4, 5-on-5. They have all these like funky team tournaments, and then Wai Wai comes through. It's like, well, which region is really like, which area is the best in the world? And so they came up with this format. It's kind of cool. Curious to see who's gonna take it. And then obviously the main event is X-Rare, which weird format, right? Like a team of Blanca versus a team of you know, Zangief. Like anything can happen. We don't have a bracket yet, so. But anyway, y'all, it's gonna be it for now. I'm gonna go probably do some BGs. My fight stick is messed up. I'm gonna play anyway. I don't care. I'm just gonna play online and lose and get mad. Appreciate everyone who hung out. Tune in on the weekend when I do restreams. I don't think I'll be able to live stream it, but I'll, you know, do some restreams and hopefully get like Marcus on commentary so you can drop random lore. My buttons are messed up, like my Fierce and Roundhouse button. I don't know. It's dumb. Wait, what does that say at the bottom? Oh. What else was I gonna say? But yeah, good job to Mao, Tamashima, and everyone that's organizing Wai Wai, and then, you know, obviously Kan-Sho NPO for doing X-Rare. More news to come soon. I gotta talk about my upcoming events. We got some cool stuff happening that I'll get to start announcing over the course of the next couple of weeks. So I will see y'all then and there. Also, shout out to Marcus Z's new album that we've been listening to, select songs, just the instrumentals, The Keeper. So yeah, if you guys want to check that out, it's on his website and all that stuff. All right, fellas, see you later. Have a good night. Ciao. So, all day. You know me?